Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Snowflake 5 from CZT Barbara Duel Johnson. I've done a number of Barbara's snowflakes, and they're so gorgeous. And so as I was thinking about what should we share today, I'm like, let's do a snowflake. We haven't done a whole lot of them this winter so far. And while I would like to not pay attention to that it's so cold out where we're at the same time, it's like, well, let's have fun with the snow and the cold. All right, so this one starts with an orb in the center of wherever you want it. Then kind of doing a north, south, east, west, and leave yourself a little bit of room at the top. So if you're like this, where it's like, okay, if I go too far, that's going to cause trouble. You could always, I always like to err on the side of being too short, because you can elongate something. But I always like to give that warning too, so that way, as you're drawing, you can say, okay, let me leave a little bit of room. All right, then kind of like the intersection where these spokes meet the orb. You know what? I want to look at hers again. It's so funny. But I do, and I look at it. Oh no, okay, well, and then all of a sudden when I'm doing this, I get a thought. I'm like, wait, let me go look again. So we're gonna basically make a V shapes. Oh, and they could be a little curved or not. I was trying to tell. Maybe a slight curve. I was putting quite a bit in my version of the step out. I'm not going to do any curve. And we'll see how it turns out. Well, and the nice thing is you can do either. And it'll just have a little bit different look, and either way it's going to look neat. If I could only make mine even, but that's all right. Yeah, like that. Okay, then on the ends of these, we're going to put a diamond, and we're going to aura the diamond. I started off making these small in my version of the step outs, and then I got them bigger towards the end, and again, it looks good either way. Make this so you can see. And for whatever reason, I make the diamond shapes better if I'm doing them this way in this direction, like going up or down, versus, going off to the side like that. I don't know why, but when you find that you do something better in a certain direction, just remember it so you can do it again. All right, next. On each of these spokes, just a little ways down, you're going to just come off with a couple lines in either direction. And I did split this up. There were a couple that I split up the steps just because it's mostly for me. Because I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Because my first thought was I needed to make this short so I could see that there was something on top. I don't always examine all of the step outs until I'm doing it. Like I look at it and I'm like, oh, okay, I see. It's like I give myself a 30,000 foot overview. And that's why usually as I'm doing it, I'm like, oh no, wait a minute. I don't know. I'm silly the way I work that way. All right, then at the ends of all of these, we're going to put some diamonds. And these ones can be smaller. Actually, I was doing this. I could do it on the side. So like here, I found, I'm like, oh, that works. Just because I was like, oh, how many times do I need to turn the tile? All right. that one was interesting. Oh, one more. Okay. Now, we're going to fill in this gap with some little flux shapes or teardrop shapes, whichever way you want to think about it. And well, actually, I say that because, if you're new to Zentangle, you're like, what's a flux? I don't understand. Flux capacitor? No. It's a tangle. And it can look like that. So that's why I always try to say it for those that are familiar and for those that are not. And we're doing 2 sets like that. Or one on either side and then 2 sets of those. And kind of with direction that goes with those V shapes. Actually goes with these shapes, with this shape. Kind of pointing. Well, I was going to say up. Well, away from the center. There we go. Yeah, because up is relative. All right. And then the last step, and this one because I almost missed it. We're just going to put a little line from the center of this little triangle, right, down to the orb, kind of coffering it. And that is it. And then it is just time to play. So here are some ways that you could play. Number one, you could fill things in. I did that on my version of the step out, but then I decided just now, like, ooh, speaking of coffering, let's do that on these. I mean, because these are crystals, right? Mm-hmm. So we might as well make them look like they are. But whatever great idea comes into your head, I highly recommend that you do that. All right. And, let's, because, well, no, I'm going to leave those as they are. I want to put the, line or line dot or something in them. But I think I'm going to leave them as they are. I'm also tempted to maybe fill in some of those. Ooh, you know what? Let's do this. And actually, I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to do the center one because that's what popped into my head. So I'm just doing some very, very fine lines, meaning I'm just barely touching the paper. Okay, let's do the other ones too. I'm going to keep it all on the same side just because. All right. Oh, that looks interesting. Yeah. And then let's put a little C shape in there just to give it a shine of sorts. And then with my Tortillion, I'm going to, I'm using what's left on it. And I did this on my version of the step out, and it seemed to turn out all right. Actually, but I'm thinking of going on the same lines as I've done that line work. And I'm just putting a little bit of graphite. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can kind of see it. This one was rather light. Well, and I am, like I said, I am using what's left on my Tortillion because it needs to be wiped off a little bit. Just to give it a little something. Oh, wait. Let's do the same thing on these. Okay, because that's neat. And I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Let's see. And then this, I'm just putting a little, I'm still wiping off the graphite. And I'm doing the pick a side and stick to it, and I'm turning the tile so that way it's always, whatever that side is, I'm doing it on the right side. And that's just the way it is. But then, okay, here, yeah. Just adding a little bit of graphite right around, okay, the edge of that. It just adds a little something. You don't have to do any shading, but it's kind of neat. All right, I like it. Okay, and I hope you like it too. And if you do, please click on the like button. And if you liked it enough to see more, I'm going to do something else here too. If you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. In the description section, I'm just kind of doing that same idea, but in this little center. In the description section, you will find the links to the step outs. And below them, you will find my link tree. So if you enjoy my style, and you'd like to connect, on the link tree has all of my social media. It has ways to follow me if you would like to come and tangle with me online. I have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursdays are free. It's an hour. I do it 2 times a day, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. my time. In Michigan, it's Eastern time. Tuesdays, I have the third Tuesday is also free, but the other ones have a fee, or I have one exclusive day that is reserved for a special session that I do with my subscription club members. So information for all of that is there. And let me highlight one last thing. I think just one last thing. We have a Tangle Addicts community group on Facebook and would love to have you come and join us. There are just 4 questions that you have to answer in order to gain entry, and that's it. There's just so many wonderful people, and a lot of people that are on the classes, especially the Tangle Time, are also in that Facebook group. And so it's just, it's like a Tangle party 24/7. So anyway, we have fun. Come and join us. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.